So we have begun properly now. Welcome everybody to 2020, to the next decade of your life, both in and out of your acting career. Happy New Year. Welcome back. For those who are listening on the replay, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, huge shout out to you. Those who are watching live who can't make a future live broadcast, you can listen back to all of these broadcasts on iTunes and on Spotify and on Stitcher. Just search for Act on This TV audio experience. Just type in Act on This TV, all one word, and you will find it. Those watching on the replay on Facebook and you couldn't make it tonight, huge shout out to you. And those watching on YouTube, huge shout out to you. If you want to go and catch up on any of these, you can watch the videos on YouTube and on Facebook as well. You'll find them at facebook.com/ActsOnThisTV. Huge shout out to everyone who's joined us live tonight. Luke Richards has just joined us in the house. Patrick McKenzie says, hi everyone, Happy New Year. Wishing you all the very best of 2020. Back at you, Patrick. Jay Jr.'s in the house. Hayley's here as well. She says she's fab. How are you? I'm very, very well. Daryl, good evening. You did tweet me. Thanks for that, man. Matthew Banks. Steve Connolly is in the house. Steve, someone got in touch with me the other day, a man off the telly. I'll tell you, so there's no pressure on a live broadcast. He heard you were an ex-copper, might want to see you for a short film that he's making. Pretty much household name. Might want you involved. I've given him your show reel. Let's see what happens, but I'll talk to you about that off a live broadcast. That's what happens when you remember Acts on This. I look after you. Shannon, good evening. Hope you're well. Linda Rifkin is in the house, just arrived into Manchester from Madeira, so she's going home to Glasgow tomorrow morning. Hope you are well. Bill Blackwood's here. Josh Fielding. Josh, great to see you at the meetup, mate. Angie, Chris Orr, Carly, Jack, Bill, Rich from Miami, Steve Idwaney, Alex Hewitt, Sarah Jane, Esther John. We've got like so many people watching. Michael, Angie, thanks so much for being here, guys. Tony Rossi from Chicago. Mark Joseph just joined. So yeah, how was your new year? How was the first week of... Well, actually, you know what? Has anyone even started back yet? I was trying to arrange a podcast with a few casting directors this week, and the general consensus was none of them are back at work till today, so they can't do it till next week. So I'll tell you a little bit about that, who we've got coming up over on actsonthis.tv. For those members who are watching tonight, or those people who aren't a member yet, you should become a member of actsonthis.tv. If you don't know what it is, it's a website I've been running for the last 10 years. You can go to actsonthis.tv, check it out. This is this goal setting thing, guys, you'll see on your screen right now as well. If you go to actsonthis.tv/goals, you can get my ebook on goal setting. If you've not already done it and you've not been through it yet, or if you downloaded it before Christmas and you've not been through it yet, I would highly recommend you do that. It's only about 12, 15 pages long, but it's just going to help you get clear on what you want out of this year. But Acts on This is the main website, actsonthis.tv. I sit down every week with a famous actor or a casting director, a writer, a producer, an agent, and we ultimately sit down, record a podcast for an hour and a half, 2 hours, chew the fat on what it is that makes actors successful. Here's the one I did just before Christmas with Hollyoaks casting director Mr. Peter Hunt. It's probably one of the most succinct podcasts I've done on how anybody can get their first TV credit. If you are, setting a goal this year to get your first TV credit, you need to go and either watch the full video that's here or listen to the full podcast. It's nearly an hour and 50 odd minutes long, I think. There's a preview of it here. If you're not a member, you can go and check out like the first 15 minutes. If you want to listen to the rest or watch the rest, and I would highly, highly recommend you do that, then you want to get over to actsonthis.tv and do that. Steve, I was talking about a minute ago as well, had a general casting with Peter Hunt today off the back of this podcast, because he took action on what Peter said in the podcast, and then he ended up with a general audition at Hollyoaks today. Steve, how did it go? Do you dare tell us on a live broadcast? Hopefully you smashed it, mate. Let us know. How did it go? Carly's here. She's been working all over Christmas, she says. My break is in 2 weeks on my honeymoon in Mexico. Nice. Jamie Begg's just in the house as well. Janet Lilly, great to see you at the meetup on Saturday. Ray said I did a podcast New Year's Eve. Nice one, Ray. Awesome. Steve, let us know how your Hollyoaks audition went, though, mate. So the purpose of tonight's broadcast, guys, I want to know what you've set, really. It's down to you. I want to know what you've set yourself as goals. I am going to point you in the right direction of the features. There's like dozens and dozens and dozens of features on actsonthis.tv that I've created over the last few years. And even you guys who are members, I'm pretty certain you've not all been through the back catalogue of stuff. You might just have joined last year and you've listened to all of the recent stuff from last year, probably put out 50 podcasts last year, but you probably didn't listen to the ones before that, and they're kind of evergreen. A lot of the stuff that, we talk about in the acting industry in terms of, casting, getting in the door, marketing yourself, writing to agents, writing to casting directors, it's all kind of evergreen in terms of it doesn't really go out of fashion. Not a lot changes on that respect. Stuff like self-tapes changes, like, that's a new kind of phenomenon, and all that kind of stuff, that involves technology. But a lot of the foundational stuff, the core stuff in your career, stays the same. So I want to know what kind of goals you've set yourself, and if I can, I'm going to point you towards a feature, because I know more like the back of my hand, that I know is going to help you. I'll play you a little clip out tonight as well, and those are already members. It's just going to jog your memory on what's actually on the website as well. And you should go and listen or watch those videos this week, whilst you are gearing up for, attacking your goals this month. There's going to be a lot of people this week and next week writing to casting directors, writing to agents. You might want to hold off a little bit this week to just let that deluge kind of go, so you're not lost in a massive pile. But, towards the end of the month, you really want to be getting onto this now, taking action. Someone said to me at the meetup, we did a meetup on Saturday. We do this every first Saturday of the month in Manchester and London. It's completely free to attend. You can come and attend. Someone was saying to me, at that meetup, that they realised after listening to that podcast with Peter Hunt that they just, they'd been kidding themselves that they'd been doing nearly enough in their acting career. They were like, I've just realised I've not been doing anything really productive. I've kind of just accepted that I was on Spotlight, I had an agent, they were going to do it all, and they've sat back and pretty much just kind of accepted that it was really quiet for 6 months, and it is never quiet. If you're telling yourself it's quiet, you're just kind of quietly comforting yourself, aren't you? Going, oh no, there's a reason why I'm not working. It's not. It's probably because you're not putting enough hustle in. So Kathy, good evening. Finally catching me live. Thanks for joining. Patrick says, ironically, one of my goals is for a featured TV role. Well, Patrick, mate, honestly, if you've not listened to that podcast with Peter Hunt, you definitely need to go and check that out, honestly. And those people who have heard it on here, give us a little bit of feedback on it, because I guarantee the feedback on it has been probably the best of all of the podcasts that I put out last year. Without a doubt, the amount of Twitter love that I have seen coming through for that podcast has been exceptional, probably more than... I'd say it's probably on a par with the Andy Pryor one was big last year. The Regan Management one as an agent was a really big one last year. Danny Miller's was a really big one. There's been a lot, but yeah, Peter Hunt's was pretty exceptional in terms of, I think, just because it gave people a real formula of like, do this, and do this, and it pretty much should, if you're good, you have the ability and the talent right now, pretty much get you in the room for a casting, sooner or later, within a matter of weeks. Steve followed up on it, and he's got a casting today already on 6 days into the new year. So Patrick, that's definitely something you should go and look at, mate. Kerry's in the house. Marek's just here as well. Thanks for being here, mate. Mark's not made any 2020 goals yet. I saw your post, Mark, and it was that about, so a lot of people struggle to make goals initially because they can't get clear on what it actually is they want. Because they have no clarity and direction of where they're going to. And that's kind of like a critical building block of actually being able to set goals. It all begins with clarity. And getting really freaking honest with yourself. If you don't know what it is you want, you're probably not being completely true and honest with yourself. Maybe you're pursuing something because you think you should be pursuing it, but actually it isn't the thing that lights you up, but you think you should be pursuing it because it's what everyone expects you to pursue. Or there's something called a sunk cost syndrome. I've had it in different businesses that I've set up before, where you've sunk so much time and energy into something, even though it no longer lights you up and it doesn't really excite you, because you've put too much effort into it already. There's this sunk cost syndrome where you're like, oh, I've put all this effort in. I should. The right thing to do would be to go on, where actually a lot of people don't want to. I've done that twice in a business for too long, and I've gone, no, enough's enough now. I'm calling it a day and I'm closing it down. Did it once in a business around the stock market and once in a business around voiceover. Two things that I'm passionate about in my personal life, and I like having fun in those areas, but in terms of building businesses around them, it was something I just thought I should do because it was something that I was active in. And actually, after a few months, I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. But because I'd put so much time and effort in, I just carried on with it. even though it wasn't lighting me up, it wasn't exciting me, it wasn't something that I wanted. So you've got to get dead honest with yourself, Mark, and just go, what is it that I want in terms of, if you've been telling yourself you want an acting career all these years and actually you just feel you should carry on doing it because it's what's expected of you, but really you want to do stand-up comedy instead or whatever it is, there is nothing wrong. This is the beautiful thing, right? And a lot of people kind of struggle with this, but there is nothing wrong with changing your mind. Sometimes, and I would expect this to happen in a year's time, in any sort of year-long period. When you set goals in January, I promise you, things that I have set this January, December, for what I want to achieve this year, I promise you, I can guarantee, because it happens every year, 2 or 3 of those things will be taken off my list halfway through the year, because I'll go, you know what, that was relevant to me when I said it. It's no longer relevant to me. I just don't want to do it anymore. It doesn't excite me, doesn't light me up, doesn't, I don't emotionally connect to it. You've got to have an emotional connection a lot of the time as well to the goals that you want. So you've got a real reason for why you're doing them. Because when you come up against any kind of resistance or that first bit of, the first challenge, that first rejection as an actor, or that first no you get from writing to an agent this month, a lot of people, if they don't have a real emotional connection with it, they don't have the energy, or the passion to kind of push through that. So I think before you can set any goals, you've got to get clear and real honest. Sometimes you don't want to admit to yourself that you shouldn't do such and such a thing because it's like, oh, you know what, I feel like I should. Definitely. I used to be like that. I used to suppress, I think, presenting, because I was like, no, I'm an actor. I want to do, I should be doing more acting. When really, presenting just absolutely lit me up. I just love presenting. So I started getting into more of that last year, with the help of some people I know at ITV News, and stuff like that. And that isn't cheating on my acting career. That's just me going, you know what, I want to go and taste other stuff. I want to, there's other flavors out there, and I'm going to go and have a little bit of them all, figure out what I want, what I want best. So clarity is critical. What other goals have we had from people? I can see Brendan has just joined us. Brendan, I know you said you were going to fly over for one of the meetups. Just to warn people, the meetup in February, because we normally do them the first Saturday of every month, which would be the 1st of Feb. I'm recording a podcast with Line of Duty casting director Daniel Edwards. He's coming up from London to my apartment, and we're going to do a phone-in podcast with premium members of TV. So the meetup in February, I'm going to push back a week to the 8th of Feb, which is actually my mum's birthday. But because, I'm committed to the community, I'll see my mum in the evening. So we're going to do the meetup in Manchester on the 8th of Feb. The London meetup for the London folk who run the London one will still be the 1st of Feb. But I just thought I'd warn you, Brendan, in case you were flying in, mate. From where are you? I can't remember where you are. You said you were going to fly in. Don't fly in for the 1st. I really hope you haven't booked a ticket. Let's have a look. So let me know let's have a look. What goals have people set? And let's try and give people pointers on, on how you can achieve the things that you want to achieve this year. Inez says, totally agree. Peter's advice is clear, honest, kind, and realistic. Such a good guy, honestly. He's an absolute legend. Kathy still needs to listen to the Peter one, need to catch up on all the podcasts. They're all there waiting for you, Kathy. But you can... just pop a pair of headphones in whenever you want. And, when you're on the train, I listen to podcasts all the time. Not my own. I'm not completely vain. But yeah, I always have a pair of headphones in wherever I go. So you can catch up doing whatever you want, whether you're in the gym or you're walking the dog. So Kathy's goal is to get on Spotlight. Right. Okay. Well, there's quite a few ways. You need 4 credits, basically, 4 professional credits that aren't commercial or music video or anything like that. Some of the fastest ways, I've mentioned this loads of times, one of the fastest ways to get at least one of your credits for Spotlight is to get involved with Monologue Slam. If people don't know what Monologue Slam is, it's an event, a fantastic event that Jimmy Akinbola and Fraser Ayres set up. Triforce is like their company. And it's effectively a monologue kind of event where you go and you perform a 60-second monologue or a 3-minute monologue or a 60-second monologue. So a 1 or a 3-minute monologue. And it counts if you get through, because you have to go and kind of audition effectively with your monologue. If you get chosen to perform on the evening, then that counts as a credit 100% towards Spotlight. I know one actress, and I think this is allowed, who performed at Monologue Slam Manchester, Birmingham, and London, and then got, and they counted as 3 credits towards Spotlight. And then she just had one other, I think it was a small part in an independent feature film or something like that. It was still paid, it still qualified, or she might have been theatre and education, she did a little bit of. But Monologue Slam, if you're struggling for credits, guys, is a fantastic way, for a 60-second monologue that everybody's capable of doing. It's a great way to get a credit on the on the roster there. So definitely explore that, Kathy. John says been doing other things, but actually want to focus on the basics as an actor before thinking of going for jobs. What kind of basics, John? What do you need, mate? Because I'm sure I've got a podcast that's going to help you with that. Anybody needs advice on like anything like show reels, writing to agents. Maybe you're looking for an agent this year. Writing to casting directors, getting your first line on, it's going to be a soap. If you're looking for your first TV role, it's going to be one of the serial dramas that cast a lot of day players with 1 or 2 lines. That's definitely going to be, your first port of call. I've got so many podcasts on how you can do that. Let us know what your basics are, John, and we'll get to work on that. And also let us know as well, guys, what other features you want to see on actsonthis.tv this year. I'm going to be doing probably 3 podcasts a month. Moving forward, I want to know, who you want to see more of. Do you want to see more agents? Do you want to see more actors? Do you want to see more actors who are not super established yet, who have just got the first TV credit, so we can reverse engineer that because maybe you relate a bit more to that than we bring in BAFTA winners on who have been in the industry 20 years? Do you want to hear from writers, exec producers? I don't know, cameramen. We never had one of them on before, or a sound recordist. I don't know, someone who just works, as crew on TV sets. Who you'd want to understand their job a bit better. Because I think if you can understand everyone's job on a TV set, you do your job better as an actor. Adam's in the house. As you're so right there, Ross. I thought I would get a degree from the Open University in history. Wow, no way. I got scared about security. My acting stalled 4 years down the track. I realised I have no passion for it. Got more acting jobs this year already. And I have my mojo back. Now I know what I really want, and it was what I was doing all along, acting. Yeah, it's funny, man. So you kind of like had a little bit of a what would you call it? Like went off on a bit of a tangent studying history because you probably thought, oh, that's a bit more stable for my life. But yeah, if you're not, you know what? This is the thing. So many people. I'd be interested to know why you did that, Adam. And was it pressure from your partner, from your parents? I don't know, just random people's opinions of what you should be doing. Did you feel a bit insecure because you didn't have like a real degree in inverted commas? So many people do shit because they're influenced by people's opinions. Sometimes people who they don't even know, or other time it is people like in certain cultures as well are so driven by what their parents want them to do, and it's just a losing formula because. They'll just end up resenting their parents. They'll end up resenting them, waiting for them to die, and then at that point they're going to go and chase their dreams and do what they always wanted to do. And it's all for the fear of a 10-minute conversation that goes, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not your property. I value my own opinion of myself over anyone else's opinion of mine. If you want me to be happy, which should surely be every parent's goal for their kids. So many parents want to use their kids as collateral, as kind of to show off to their friends how successful they are, and it's bullshit. I know parents who have pushed their kids, I went to school with, pushed their kids to go to certain universities so that they could get, I don't know, like jackets, car stickers, and scarves with a certain university name on, hoodies with Cambridge and Oxford on the back, just ultimately like wearing their children as accessories to go, oh, look next door, my son's doing better than yours. Bullshit. He might seem to be doing better because he's got to Cambridge and Oxford. The fact is that he's depressed and go to the doctors for antidepressants, and this guy, who hasn't gone to uni but is enjoying his life, hasn't had to do that. That's more successful for me. So it'd be interesting why people choose this shit. And they don't chase their passions. There'll be people watching this probably in other jobs who want to be actors, or people listening to this who are in other jobs and they want to chase something creatively, but they don't think that it's the respectable thing, or their parents wouldn't approve of it, or their boyfriend or girlfriend wouldn't approve of it. It's a new decade. It's 2020, man. Come on, like this isn't a dress rehearsal. As Ricky Gervais said at the Golden Globes yesterday, lighten up. You're gonna die, and there isn't a sequel. I thought his speech last night was so good. Did people watch it? The Golden Globes, he absolutely just tore a strip out of Hollywood, and it was beautiful. It was so good. Everyone sat there being all so serious, dressed up to the nines, thinking they're special, and he just basically went, you lot who think you can use this when you win your award as a political platform, you don't know what it's like living in the real world. Half of you haven't been to school as long as Greta Thunberg. He says, and all of you lot who are working for Apple, who run sweatshops, you can't talk about ethics and stuff like that. He says, so when you win your award, come up. He said, what did he say? He said, come up, thank your agent, thank your God, and f*** off. And I thought, fair play, Ricky. They all take themselves a bit too serious. Dan Sheeder's in the house. One of my goals for the first 6 weeks was to obtain new footage for Showreel. After attending Saturday's Manchester meetup and meeting Chris Stone. Yeah, shout out to Chris Stone. He was at the meetup. Probably, well, in my opinion, the best showreel producer in the country. I'm all booked in to shoot in February. First goal. Hit in 3 days. See what I mean, Dan? When you join Acts on this, get shit done, mate. I'm not even a sales pitch. Honestly, if you swear to God, guys, I don't know what more I can do. Like, if you really are serious about your career this year, you need to get involved with this community properly. Actsonthis.tv, get your membership, come along to the meetups, listen to all the podcasts. I swear to God, for the price of one latte a week, you will change your career very quickly, if you can be asked, if you're not lying to yourself. You know, Dan was saying, he was like, I didn't think, I was convincing myself that I didn't have £4 a week or whatever to invest in it. And he admitted he was bullshitting himself. People are going out there and spending £4 on a latte, £5 on a McDonald's bullshit meal that's going to give you a heart attack. And they don't bat an eyelid when they look at investing themselves. I can't afford Spotlight. I can't afford Nats on this membership. I can't afford this, that, and the other. Yes, you can. You just don't want it. You just want instant gratification to make yourself feel good in the moment, and then you're going to hate yourself afterwards. So, Dan, huge shout out to you for achieving one of your goals in 3 days. Go into more screen combat training, Michael. Now, do you know what, Michael? That's something that I've not done since drama school, and I haven't done a single podcast on stage combat, screen fighting, motion capture, that kind of thing. Let me know if people would be interested in that, because that's something just my own curiosity. I'm quite intrigued in that kind of thing. I loved stage combat at uni. At drama school, it was awesome, really, really good. I don't think my eyes are good enough nowadays to be swinging a sword around. But, could have a crack at it. Alison Saxon, hope you're well. Kerry says, Michael, where do you do them? Yeah, let us know where those classes are. Bobby from Ireland says, one of my goals is to break into musical theatre, but I need lots of training for that, so got to get the vocal training. I've been procrastinating since 2018. I'm going to stay in my lane, Bobby. If I try to give you advice on musical theatre, I would be bullshitting you. I have absolutely no idea how to get into musical theatre. I only know how to get into film and TV. If you want to study musical theatre above anything else, don't get a membership to actsonthis.tv, because it will only help you get on TV. But Bobby, I'm sure there are people within the community. There's 10,000 people in this Facebook group. There's lots of people. There's 12,000 people on my email list. I'm sure I can help you, get some musical theatre knowledge if that's what you need. I would also speak to Jason Broderick, actually. He's a member of Acts on This, but he runs his own thing called Actors Business Breakthrough. I'm pretty certain Jace, because he was in Wicked, I think he knows quite a bit about musical theatre. He might be a guy to ask as well. Kathy said she went to watch Monologue Slam, but do I need to win to get a credit? No, you just have to perform there. So you'll normally have maybe 12 to 15, maybe even 20 some nights, depending on how many people apply, performing. You don't need to win it. You just need to perform at it. So auditioning for it doesn't count, but if you turn up at an event and you perform for the audience, that is a credit. So you're good. There's even a golden ticket round, So at the end of the night, they go, right, we're going to give a golden ticket out to a member of the audience, and you have to go up and perform a monologue of your own. I mean, that takes some guts. But that would count as a credit. So even if you go and you're not prepared, or you didn't get in, as long as you've got a monologue prepared, so you have to be prepared. But if you go having, not going to perform, but you're like, actually, you know what? I've got a monologue up my sleeve. You can still get yourself a credit on the fly there. Sarah says, I found the Peter Hunt podcast really helpful. Helped me gain some clarity about what I need to be doing when contacting casting directors. Specificity is key. One of my goals for 2020 is to book a guest role in Holby City. Holby, you need to get hold of the BBC in-house casting directors. People like Sam Stevenson, I think. Yeah, have a look. It's worth phoning, and you can do this. You're perfectly entitled to do this. Lots of people do this, and I made Steve do this on a podcast once. You can phone BBC Elstree switchboard and just ask them who's casting the BBC in-house stuff like Doctors, Casualty, Holby, etc. And I mean, Holby's filmed over in Cardiff. So, but I'm sure they'd be. Oh, you can phone BBC Cardiff. They'd know who. It's not cast over there. It's cast in at BBC Elstree. Because when I did Casualty, Sam Stevenson cast that at. Or was it Gemma Hancock? It might have been Gemma Hancock. I can't, because they work together. I get them confused. It's worth ringing. It's worth phoning and just saying, "I'm super sorry to bother you. I was just wondering who right now is casting and then just ask whether it's Doctors, Casualty, Holby, whatever. It's cyclic, so it's normally freelance casting directors sometimes who come in and they just do blocks, so it's not always the same person, so it's worth checking on that. But yeah, Sarah Jane, very much the same principle that Peter mentions in the Hollyoaks podcast. The same principle, just as long as you find out who's casting Holby, same rules apply, definitely. John says showreel, new headshots, all that stuff. Talking about now maybe some theatre-based things as well. I think you've got to, when you're setting these goals, John, you've got to go, right, what is the one thing I want to do now? So what is that? I always do this thing where I go, I've got my goals, and then I go, one of those is what I call a push goal. If you get this, one sec. There it is. I printed it out. If you go to actsonthis.tv/goals, you can get this for free. It's a free goal-setting document. You can't see it on camera, but it is decent. You'll see in there, one of the goals is called a push goal. It's basically the goal, like a domino, that's going to push the others over. If you say, what's the one thing now that I, if I did or I achieved, would make everything else easier or even unnecessary. Sometimes you achieve something and that other goal that you had on your list, you go, I don't need to do that anymore. I've surpassed that. You can wipe that off as well. So what's the one thing, if you had it or achieved it now, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Go for that first. If it's your show reel, focus on that. You can't focus on your show reel and getting into theatre probably at the same time because they're very, very different mediums. There's a great podcast on show reels with Chris Stone. If you go, look, I'll bring this up. Might even have a little trailer. I can play you this. If you go to the website, if you just type in the search bar here, so if you click on Watch New, type in the search bar Chris Stone, you'll bring up 7 Steps to Show Reel Success with Chris Stone. Chris is probably the best showreel producer in the country, in my opinion. Just is. I used to say that because I didn't know of any other showreel producers. I've pretty much seen everybody's work now, to be honest, unless there's someone brand new who I haven't. I don't think anybody rivals this guy. I've done quite a few scenes with him. Him and Steph, his wife, just brilliant. They'll write you scenes, they'll film them, edit them. They just look better than everybody else's, and the sound quality is better than everyone else's. I'm seeing so many people put out so much shit, and they're charging actors good money for it, and it sounds dreadful. They'll shoot it on a nice camera so it'll look good, but they'll use some bullshit microphone that makes it look so amateur. That's a great podcast to listen to. I might even have, let's have a look if I can play a little tiny clip of Chris Stone's podcast. I'm doing this on the fly. If the whole broadcast goes down, I'm sorry about that. I don't think it will. I've never done this before on a broadcast where I'm changing stuff up. Hopefully this should be fine though. If I click this, I'm going to select Chris's. Let's have a look. Chris Stone. Have I got a clip? I think I have. I think in this clip, Chris is talking about. He's talking about, when actors want to label the bottom of their show reel, so they'll have a scene, and then the bottom right left-hand corner, they'll write what it's from, and you shouldn't do that. It's distracting, particularly if somebody's watching your reel on mobile. Chris tells you why you shouldn't do that in this clip. This is like 60 seconds of a 2-hour podcast, but I think this alone will give you a little bit of value. Hopefully this will work. I'll see you in 60 seconds.
Sometimes people put on the text of the clips. So, play a clip and they'll have Coronation Street in the bottom left-hand corner or the director's name or something like that. You don't really need to do that because if somebody's reading text, then they're not watching the performance. And the whole point of the reel is to show off your acting, not to list all your credits. Because you can do that on Spotlight. The other thing that limits you with is sometimes you could take 2 scenes from the same film that look completely different, so it kind of creates the illusion that you've been in more stuff. But if you're putting names to it every time it comes on screen, it's like, oh well, actually that's really obvious now, it's all from the same thing.
That's pretty good, isn't it? It worked. I've never done that on the fly. Excellent. I hope it worked. You're all still here, isn't it? So that we should maybe play this game. I'll just show you some podcasts and I'll play you a little clip of them. Just give you a little bit of completely free value on here tonight. That looked like it worked though, which was good. Let's have a look. Oh god, I've just had 178 comments come through. I'm not catching up with these comments very well. Let me just jump back on Back on camera for a second with you guys. Julie says, used to be in Spotlight, got a nice job from it, but has had time out, and I want to get back on Spotlight. Okay, got 2 credits in the last 6 months, but guessing still need 2 more. If you used to be on it, Julie, and you weren't as a young performer, because you know, if you had the credits, you don't need to have acquired another 4 credits since being on it. You can just apply. You don't need anything else. Like, yeah, assuming my oils will not be considered. No, they'll be completely considered. Doesn't matter. You're perfectly entitled to have a few months out or a few years out. Honestly, doesn't matter. Even 10 years out. The rules haven't changed. Credits are credits. There you go. Alex has just said credits are credits, even if they are older. Yeah, they definitely are. Apologies if I am missing some of these. Yeah, you might get a little bit of flashing when I'm sharing my screen, Alex. That's just a frame rate thing, because sharing a monitor that's in 5K, it's all a bit technical, but in terms of this video is going out at 30 frames per second, and the monitor itself is a higher refresh rate than that. But my video, and the audio should absolutely fine. You might get a little flash in the top left-hand corner when I'm sharing my computer screen, but apart from that, it's all good. Claire Dean in the house, hope you are well. She just got back from an equity meeting. So what else is, what else are the people after? Because I'll play you some little clips of stuff. I've got little trailers of all kinds of stuff here that I can help you with. That was Chris on Showreels. Richard said Chris is also brilliant Showreel editor. He does all my editing. And Richard's got some shit-hot footage as well with people like Kirsten Dunst, because he works in America. So I like your reel, Rich. My goal this year, new headshots, study Meisner, do monologue slam, Showreel with Chris Stone, and cancel flights to Manchester for the 1st of Feb. Don't tell me, Brendan, you didn't book it for the 1st, did you? Please don't tell me that. I only saw your post before. I thought, shit, I hope he hasn't already. 8th of February, though, is the next Acts on this Manchester meetup. So hopefully you have not booked a fly. I really hope you haven't, mate. Definitely. Really hope you haven't. What else have we got? Mark says... Oh, you're talking about combat. Yeah, there's a guy called Bags. Who is this Bags guy? Because he posts in the Acts on this group sometimes. He's an ex-soldier who does... like gun training and stuff for actors, isn't he? If you want to kind of look like you are like real, like properly trained as a, if you were playing an action hero who had had some things to shoot and stuff. What's the name of his company? Someone write it in the comments for me, and I'll give him a little shout out, because he does seem like a decent guy. He messaged me before he put a post in the Acts on this group, which is the way to do it. Lots of people decide they're just going to join the Acts on this Facebook group and then just post something, like just basically ask all you lot for money as soon as they've joined. They get deleted and banned straight away, because that's bullshit. What else is happening here? I still want to know people's goals for this year. What is it that people want? Because I can help you with it, definitely. Barbara's here. Play your latest reel or a clip. Okay. I wonder if I can play my latest. This is all getting technical, isn't it? I might be able to play my reel. I'm going to get it edited by Chris this week, but I can show you an edit of a reel that Chris did me. I can even play you the latest scene that I shot with Chris if you want. Let me see how I can do that. I can do this. Come on, Ross, you can do this. I can definitely do this. Let me just find out where my show reel is. Latest show reel. Might have found it for you guys. Latest show reel. I hope this is the latest one. When was this from? It's from July, so I think it might be. Let me see if... I'm going to try and play this. I don't know if it's going to play it the right size. If it doesn't, I'll stop it and I'll change it and I'll play it the right size. This is the latest cut of my reel. I think it's just over 2 minutes. Let's see if this works. Can I open my eyes?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks. How did you know?
Not much gets past me.
No, you're just stalking me on Twitter again, aren't you? What's going to be a ring? I shit myself.
Yeah, it's been 10 years now. It gets better and worse.
Sorry, ever caught you on a bad day?
No. Today's pretty good, actually. On a bad day, I can't get out of bed.
Not seen you in ages, how are you?
Are you not?
Living the dream.
I've not seen you in here before.
So now I've got a meeting at 5:30. Bags of time. Shall I get us a nice bottle of red?
You're a bad influence. So who are you meeting?
Oh, I need a new solicitor for the business. I'm talking to Barlow Legal Services.
Really?
You know 'em?
A little bit of news, everyone. And it's congratulations to Bethany. Because they said, yeah, the Home Office has said that they'll fund you.
You're kidding me.
They're going to pay for Keenan Naru. You did it. You got it. You're in.
I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry.
The billboards are just the start. There's cinema, TV adverts we can exploit.
I want the family to share in the grand unveil.
Of course, the Excelsior package guarantees a 24-hour printing service. Signing with us gives you access to very competitive rates with our partners. That car was registered to a Simon Beardson. He reported it missing at approximately 7:45 this morning.
Must be a misunderstanding.
Well, maybe so. But I am going to have to arrest you on suspicion of taking a motor vehicle without the owner's consent.
That's all getting bought up for property, innit?
You're on a twist. This is the busiest port in the world.
So why are they offering you 1,200 quid to go away? That's a lot of piss-off money for someone they want to keep.
Mike.
Hello there.
Do you mind if I call you social worker 454?
Call me what you like.
He's here today to run through some emergency scenarios with you both.
Sort of like the Krypton Factor, but slightly less assault coursey.
Well, Jimmy will be disappointed. On the plus side, I mean, you get to spend the rest of the night in the pub if you want.
I've got to get home.
You won't get this opportunity again, you know. I insist.
Maybe tomorrow.
Sure. Shot her in the face. There you go. We're a little bit badass at the end there. Yeah, there's some footage on there that I need to swap out for some stuff that I've done this year. It's something called The Stranger, comes out on the 30th of January on Netflix. Going to get some footage from that. Did that late last year. Hopefully you'll all watch that. Only one episode of it, but it's pretty decent. That's with Hannah John Kamen, Richard Armitage. It's a good laugh. It's a good laugh actually, but it's also like some of it's not funny at all. It's quite harrowing, but it's freaking edge of your seat kind of stuff. The Stranger, nothing to do with Stranger Things, but The Stranger comes out on Netflix. All 8 episodes of it on the 30th of January. Do check it out. So yeah, I'll be swapping some footage out. The thing is with show reels is they shouldn't really be more than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. People won't even generally watch that much, but if it's longer than 2 minutes and 20, you cannot upload it to Twitter directly to a tweet. You can link to it to like YouTube or Vimeo or whatever, but people do not click on links. They do not want to go on Twitter to be on YouTube. They don't want to do that. They go on Twitter to be on Twitter, and that's where all of the acting industry hangs out. It's where all of the casting directors hang out. It's where most of the conversation in our industry is happening. So if you can get your show reel down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds or less and upload it to a tweet, you can pin that tweet to the top of your profile. So when anyone goes on your profile, that's the first thing they see. They read your bio, they know you're an actor, your show reel's the next thing, and it will automatically play as they scroll down your feed. They're not just seeing a link. It's bullshit. One thing for this year that you should be doing if your show reel is over 220 is getting it down to 220. Get unemotional, cut some shit out. You don't need it. People will really only watch the first 60 seconds, to be honest with you. You don't need it to be longer than that. Bill says, a lot of people asking for a podcast with a producer. Daffyd Llewellyn. He's the producer of Casualty. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I know Daffyd. I could definitely get him on. He's such a lovely guy. Yeah, that's a good shout, Bill. I'll drop him a tweet actually after this live. We'll try and get Daffyd on. I'm sure he'd come to Manchester and do it. Claire Dean, need an agent, Q1 mega goal. Claire, have you listened to every podcast I've done with agents on Acts on This? Let's go over to the site and let's see what we've got. Have you listened to every single one? Because there might be some older ones that you don't know about. If you go into your members area. Again, you might get a little bit of flashing here. Guys, don't worry about it. And I only mean flashing of the screen. You're not going to get... You're not paying enough to get any of the other type of flashing. It's just because, like I say, because of this broadcast, the frame rate will be a little bit different. That's why my show reel might have been a little bit jerky there as well, because my show reel's in 24 frames a second. This is going out at 30 frames a second, so it might not look quite as smooth, but hopefully you got to see it and hear it. If you scroll right down, there you go. Here's some features with agents that I did last year. They're all freaking superb. You need to listen to these. That one there with Bryony and Nicola from Regan Management, Regan Manchester. Regan is part of Regan Talent Group. They've got offices in Manchester, London, and Cardiff as well. Those who are up for Holby and doing Casualty, that's over in Cardiff. These would definitely be a great agent to be with. We filmed an awesome. It's kind of like just a little preview of it. You can loads of these podcasts you can watch, by the way, as a video like that. Or you can just listen to the audio, and you'll see the audio player underneath. But this was a phone-in one where actors who were premium members of actsonthis.tv could phone in and ask Nicola and Bryony their questions direct. I'd highly recommend you listen to that one. Also, I mean, they're all good. The one with Natalie Payne was incredible. Payne Management's a great agency. Archie, when he was working at Icon, he's left Icon now, but the advice is still exactly the same. Alex Priestley's a brilliant agent. Guy Howe's a brilliant agent. My own agent, Jane Hollywood, is there. My own voiceover agent, the voiceover gallery, Hannah, Ralph from the voiceover gallery. Have you listened to all of those? And have you taken the exact advice, Claire, that they have given you in those podcasts, basically? Because if you have, you should be getting called in for at least a couple of meetings. And let us know if you've had any meetings. But you definitely, if you follow up on that and you've got a decent, solid show reel with nothing in it that would put anybody off, you've not tried to just cram in everything that you can cram in to show you can act. It's so much better sometimes to just have one or two really solid scenes, as opposed to just throwing the kitchen sink at it. And, you've got one solid scene and then the rest of it looks like it's been shot in an acting class. It's not, just not what you want to be doing. If you've got, your show reel down, you've got decent headshot, and you send a nice email showing your personality. One thing Peter Hunt said that he couldn't emphasize enough was he wants actors to show their personality in emails that they send. So he was saying, listen, say we have a massive accident on Hollyoaks, because it's dramatic. They always have that, don't they? There'll be a car crash or a huge wipeout of some description, once every 3 months, where everyone's in hospital or like people are getting beaten up and stabbed and like there's all fights going on. If like that's going on and you're watching the show, and say, for instance, your casting type, Claire, you could so play a nurse, easy peasy, anything like that. You could be like, listen, he said it'd be great, you get an email saying, hey, Peter, just wanted to reach out, here's my show reel, I normally get cast as nurses, or I always play these caring characters, looks like you guys could need a few at the moment, a bit of personality, a bit of, fun, comedy, that's not just, dear sir, madam, I would love to be considered for any role coming up, please find and close my spotlight link and my show reel. Bore off. It's just freaking boring, isn't it? So if you're doing that, you're showing personality in your emails, you've got a decent headshot, you've got a couple of solid scenes on your show reel. This year is your year, Claire. It's got to happen. We're not having you in like Q1. Forget Q1. It's 6 weeks, middle of February. I want you signed. But it's only going to happen if you take consistent action every day. Don't write to 3-4 agents. Get no's from them and then give up. It's bullshit. Write to 25. Not all at once, because sometimes it's nice to send the email out, see what the response is like. If it's not any response, maybe tweak it a little bit. But again, people overthink it. You don't need to go too off piece with your emails, but just show some personality. Ultimately, without being too try hard, just be nice. Ultimately, be nice, not afraid. And not apologetic. That's a massive thing as well. Everybody says, don't be apologetic. I'm sorry to bother you. Why? Don't say that. Don't ever say that. Don't start your emails off, hi, Peter, I know you're busy. Sorry to bother you. Why are you sorry? Stop apologising for wanting to have a bit of success in your life. Andrea, how are you doing? Fanny Compton, how are you doing? Fanny doesn't apologise. She just puts loads of shit out. Looking forward to your sitcom, Fanny. see what's going down with that. Looks interesting. Barbara says she loved Miranda. Yeah, Miranda was in the first scene of my show reel with me. Miranda's a great actress. Who's the organiser for the London meetup? It's two people who organise a London meetup for Acts on This. It's Mel Radloff and Wendy Walker. If you go into the Facebook group and just look at the photo that Mel... In fact, I can do it, can't I? I can just share my web browser with you. Let's have a look. Share this with you. Let's go on the Acts on This Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV. There's me, live right now. Shout out to the 52 people watching right now. Hope you are well. And if you just scroll down a little bit, There's Inez. She posted a photo from the London meetup. It says tagged in it there. Inez Thorne with Mel Radloff and 2 others. Wendy Walker's tagged there as well. Wendy's holding up a glass of looks like she's drinking some kind of rosé or something. And there's me in that. Well, actually, I'm not in that picture. I took that picture. There's the Manchester meetup, but I took that after everyone had left. We were literally all just on the way out the door. So we had about 25 at the Manchester meetup. We normally, both groups, get anywhere between kind of 20. I've had over 40 sometimes at the Acts on this meetup in Manchester, but the London one is growing. So it's it's definitely something people should get involved with, without a doubt. Get involved with that. Come down. It's completely free to attend. Drink coffee or rosé if you want. John at the Manchester one likes a lager. If you want to come down and have a beer or whatever, we do it 11 o'clock in the morning till 2 p.m. So you can have a beer after midday. It's a Saturday. It's fine. First Saturday of every month, we chew the fat on the industry. We go round. We ask everybody what they want from that month. We set goals for 30 days from now. We all hold each other accountable for achieving them, and then we come back in the month after and report back on what's gone on and repeat the process. So it's just a thing to hold you accountable, give you some inspiration, some motivation to move forward, because you need it. You are the average of the people that, the 5 people you spend the most time with, and a lot of people, it's sometimes not even through your own fault. Like you just, you're hanging out with people who don't inspire you. Sometimes, there'll be people, who spend most of the time with the 3 young children. You can't do anything about that, but if the 3 young children, your husband, and I don't know, your next door neighbour who's nothing to do with the acting industry are the 5 people you spend the most time with, you're not going to be inspired in your acting career. So you've got to get out of your comfort zone, go and meet people, and be lifted. You're only, kind of as strong as the group, really. And we've got a super strong group in both Manchester and London. So do come and get involved, Kathy. You will love it. And that goes for everybody else listening on the replay as well. My goal is to get more TV film credits, make the work regular. Right, Polina, got to get more specific than that. Can't just be that. So you need to go, right, what kind of TV work do you want? And I mean specifically, tell me what show you want. Tell me what role you would be playing, what your casting type is, what kind of roles you will be seen for. What level is it? You have to is it, are you just starting out? So you want you'd be happy with a couple of lines. Maybe you're looking for more of a supporting role, more of a kind of like a guest starring role. If it's like one episode of Casualty or something like that, where the storyline's all about you, or a regular in something. What is it that you want that's relevant to your career right now? What show? And then you can get super specific on who you target, how you target them, what scenes you're sending to those casting directors. If you're going to play a nurse in Casualty, get a scene shot as a nurse. Send that to the casting directors for Casualty. By saying I want more TV credits, it's just a real generalized goal. It's not specific enough, and you'll get lost really easily. And you just need to be more laser focused. So let us know. And I can give you email addresses for the casting directors that would be applicable for those shows, etc. What else is going on? So many comments. I'm so sorry if I'm missing anything out here. There's just so many. Let's have a look. You'll see a familiar face there, Ross. The Brox is a bit of a giveaway. Mentioned that's on this to Bags last year. I know it's a bit of a shameful plug, but BA is genuinely the best course. The BA courses run. What's happening, Alex? I'm so easily confused. The Brock is a bit of a giveaway. What do you mean? I mentioned that's on this to Bags. So Bags. Right, okay. Nice. But yeah, Bags is the guy who runs the military kind of gun training stuff for actors. Seems like a decent bloke, though. Definitely. Thank you for all the comments on my show reel. Appreciate that. Hopefully it will get even better this year. Glyn Jelly, I might be able to get a top producer on for a podcast. Glyn Jelly's my accountant. He's the best accountant I've ever had. Summit Accountants in Media City. If you're an actor, get to Glyn. Tell him I sent you. He'll do you a discount. He will genuinely look after you, honestly, particularly if you're just first starting off and you're like completely screwed up and you don't know how to do your accounts. Maybe this is the first year as an actor you've earned money and you've got to pay tax. You don't know where to start. The tax deadline is approaching us. It's on the 31st of January this year. Get in touch with Glyn. He's your man. Tell him Ross sent you. You'll get a good deal. But Glyn, let us know who the top producer is, because Glyn does everyone's accounts. He does loads of people's accounts in TV. So you probably know loads of people, Glyn, you can put us in touch with. And between us, we're going to buy Junkyard Golf this year, because Glyn does the accounts for Junkyard Golf. And I like Junkyard Golf, so we're gonna buy him, aren't we, Glyn? But we need a few £1 million first. Then we can just go and live the rest of our life out drinking and playing golf. I missed your live for the disability ones, Kathy says. Any agency you recommend for disabled actors? There are acting agencies like Visible, which is an agency, specifically for actors with disabilities. But I think, it's becoming much more of an accepted thing now that we see authentic representation of disabled people on telly, and there's not a load of, completely... I don't know what the politically correct word is. I don't want to say able-bodied because that isn't right. But in terms of actors living without disability playing disabled roles, that's not happening as much now. It's probably going to happen still for a little bit longer. But I don't think you need to worry about going, I just want to go to an agency that just reps disabled actors. I think, diverse... agencies just want a diverse range of actors on their books. So I wouldn't limit yourself to thinking like that, Kathy. Just, apply to everybody and use, if you are living with a disability, use that as a unique selling point, as your USP, because there are not going to be a lot of people on the books who are probably living with what you're living with. Only one I've contacted said, Claire's Natalie Payne, because I want to buy and read her book first. Emailed only one I haven't contacted is Natalie Payne. Okay, because you want to read her book first. That's cool. Emailed all the rest. Silence. When did you email them, Claire, and what did you say? You're a member of actsonthis.tv, aren't you? So those who are members as well, we've got the Facebook group. Yeah, we've got that. And that's all good. But if you are after agents and stuff and you're doing stuff that's a little bit more sensitive in terms of, you might not want to post it in a public Facebook group. We've got a private community for premium members of actsonthis.tv right here. You'll know about this, Claire. But you can click in here. And this is effectively a private Facebook group, actually on the main site. It's nothing to do with Facebook, but it's a group where you can get a lot of support on, more kind of private issues, I guess. So post, if you wouldn't mind, Claire, copy and paste the email that you've been sending out to agents in there, and get all the members to jump in and have a look at it. And there's a lot of members, like Steve Connolly just signed with JLA this week. We can have a look at, maybe his letter, and we can compare and see what people are sending out and say, right, okay, what was getting a response, and then maybe apply that to yours as well. It would be interesting. But it might just have been the time of the year you sent them, or people might not have had a chance to read them yet, or yada, yada, yada. Oh, I don't know if I don't think I showed you that then, did I? There you go. It's here. I didn't share my screen. So it's in here, in the members area. Click on this. I don't think I showed you that, did I, then? So yeah, so you click on this, click into the private community, and it's here. You've seen it. I'm sure you posted in here. I get so confused because I'm answering Facebook posts and stuff all day. But that's where the private community is, the little blue icon second down in the members area. If you click back to members area, in that members area there it is, the middle one there, premium community. Social media deep dive, that was something that only 20 people went on. Going to be bringing that back in 2020. That was a bit of a secret beta test of something, but I'll let everyone else know about that in due course. So yeah, let us know, Claire. But it's good that at least you're sending stuff out, and you can send stuff out again. There's no harm in that. Don't think, I've done it 2 months ago. I'm bugging them. Well, they didn't get back to you in the first place anyway. They deserve to be bugged. Thank you, Adam. Says amazing show. Are you talking about mine or someone else's? Hopefully, maybe it was mine. Thanks very much for that. If you are. Andrea says, I've listened to them all. I've applied for a few agents in December, not heard anything yet. Think I'm being impatient as it was the first day back today. Yeah, it is. Yeah, just chill out a little bit, Andrea. Chill out a little bit. You've got, plenty of time on the clock yet. But there's nothing wrong with chasing them up in a couple of weeks, though. Just saying, hey, just check in. But I think there'll be a deluge, honestly, of people sending stuff out this week and next. I'm not going to start reaching out to anybody for anything, casting directors or anything, till the end of this month. You only need to look at Twitter this morning and you see all the casting directors posting GIFs and memes like first day back, head in hands kind of memes. They're only human. They're just like us. They don't want to be going through 1,200 emails on day one. Alex has been emailing agents for a while. I've been following the advice from some of the podcasts. Is it a case of just not giving up and keep trying? Yeah, it definitely is, mate. But it's also going, right, look, if I've sent this show reel out, in this order with this opening scene to 25 casting, agents, and I've not had a single reply, even if it's a no or what, then maybe you need to go, right, I'm going to change up the first scene on my show reel. or I'm going to take whatever is out of that showreel that might be putting someone off. Make sure your best work is up front, or the stuff that's closest to you as a person is up front. Sometimes people want to, play well against their type to show they can act, and sometimes that's not, particularly when you're first starting off, that's not that useful. Peter Hunt said, listen, if you want to get a first TV credit on Hollyoaks, show me, and you could play a policeman, or you could play a paramedic or a doctor, one of those day player roles that are cast like every other week, that are still worth £1,000. If you get one of them and you have one line, you're still going to get roughly £1,000. He's like, there's no point in having a action scene where you're fighting on the first scene of your showreel. Like, just shoot a scene that's really like, you being one of those roles that you would cast, a copper, a doctor, doing something that's pretty normal, so he can see you playing the role you're probably going to play as your first role. So sometimes you've got to have a look at that as well and go, what I'm showing, how am I marketing myself? Is that congruent with what I want right now? Yes, I want to be the next James Bond, but I've not got one TV credit yet. Why am I filming a showreel scene where I'm playing James Bond? It'd be like me starting off my showreel with that scene at the end where I shoot Sam with the gun. That's a bit of fun, and it's a little bit of fantasy for me of what I'd like to play. I don't really think I'm ever going to play a role like that. That was just something I said to Chris Stone when he got a new camera. Let's go and test your camera, mate. The first scene he ever shot in 4K. I wouldn't open my showreel with that because it's not really me. The scene you see of me with Miranda and the cufflinks in scene 1 is more who I am in real life. So it's a bit more normal. And a bit more, I guess kind of those roles are going to be cast more than the shooting people with the gun roles. So have a look at what you're opening with, Alex, and maybe we need to have a look at that and go, right, okay, can we do a slightly different cut of it? Barbara says, can I ask, do you get an agent then contacts like Chris for your reels? What do you mean, Barbara? Do you get so you would get an agent via showing the agent you can act. An agent's never going to take anybody on without seeing them, so you would get your reel done first, so you can show some ability, and then you would contact agents, once you've got something. Same thing applies for casting directors. There's just no point in sending someone your headshot, unless very, very occasionally, if you've got an incredibly specific look, and it's really applicable if you're really much younger. Sometimes you'll see agents and casting directors taking a punt on really young kids, kind of like, literally school-age kids where they're like, right, I'm going to let you off that you don't have a showreel because you've not really had enough time in your life to get one, but you've got a fantastic look. I'm going to bring you in and just test you, and we'll do a little general audition with you and see what the crack is there. Unfortunately, when we all become adults, it's just freaking harder, isn't it? You've just got to work harder. Brennan says, right, back again. His PC was really tested in this evening, but he's back. Good, Brendan. Thanks, mate. Hope you are good. Gary Thomas is there. I'm going to take a couple more questions, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. It's got to 10 o'clock quickly tonight, hasn't it? One of my goals for this year, believe it or not, was to, get more quality sleep. So, one thing I would recommend as well, one thing I've got on my screen right now, and I'm hoping I'm not broadcasting like this, but I've got a piece of software on my Mac now called Flux, Flux. It's completely free. And what it does is it knows what time it is, and it gradually takes the blue light away from your devices. So you can have it on, a bit like Night Shift on your iPhone. If you've got an iPhone, you only get that orange filter over the top. The reason behind that is because your devices emit blue light. Blue light, the wavelength of blue light is the same as daylight. So your computer screen, your iPad, your iPod, your iPhone, whatever, your laptop will emit a blue wavelength, light from its screen right now. It'll probably be the case for most of you guys. And that tells your body it's daylight, and it tells your body not to produce a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep hormone that gets your body ready for sleep and allows you to get some real deep sleep. Where you restorative sleep, where you really will wake up feeling refreshed. Now, what I normally do, because I work on a computer really late, sometimes, I'll be uploading this broadcast after I've done it at about 11 o'clock, and then I will turn the light off and go straight to sleep. I'll try anyway. But because my body still thinks it's daylight until I've turned the light off, it's had no chance to start producing any kind of melatonin. So you might fall asleep, even sometimes quite quickly, but that melatonin production won't kick in then for 4 hours. So it could be 3 a.m. in the morning. So I actually only get from 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. of melatonin production. So I don't wake up feeling refreshed. So one of my things for this year was, listen, you need to get to bed earlier, and you need to use blue light blocking either software, or you've even got some blue light blocking glasses that you can just start wearing in the evening that just starts that melatonin production. In America, Tony Rossi and Rich, you've got it easier because you can buy melatonin shots, like literally like little yogurt shots. So you can buy that, but you're not allowed them in Europe or in the UK. They're illegal. So I'd recommend Flux. Try it out with me in January. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or what, because I only started it last night, but I went to bed earlier, and I swear to God, I woke up at 6:45 this morning and went to the gym, and I felt good. And I don't know if it's because I told myself I was expecting to feel good, which it might have been. Not just going to say, yeah, it works after one day. But I don't know. I'm going to try it and just see if there is something in it. It's scientifically proven. It's not bullshit. It's not like, wishy-washy. But that was one of my goals for this year, get better quality sleep. So to cut a long story short, I'm not going to stay on too long, but my screen's orange right now. Chris Edge, how you doing, mate? Hope you are good. What else have we got here? I'm just going to take a couple more questions. I'm missing some of your conversation here, guys. I'm so sorry. Valerie says, one goal, my short film. Film my short film. I've just written and will be in it too. I think there's a podcast on short filmmaking. There bloody is. There's loads of podcasts on short filming. Right, anyone, let's finish on this. Anyone who wants to make their own, short film or anything this year, even a feature film, just whatever, a showreel scene, doesn't really matter. This is something that I am mega passionate about, right? And I'll tell you now, my plan, because I am plotting right now, okay, my plan for this year, and this is all, I've been upfront about this from the start, this has always been my plan for Acts on This since it became a business, right? It started off as a hobby 10 years ago. It really was unprofitable until 8 years in, right? Acts on This owed me, I'll be dead honest with you guys, right? Because this is it. It's not a big corporation. This is me. This site owed me 42 grand until 2 years ago. Not mucking about, right? For 8 years, I put in roughly £5,000 of my own money into running this site because I just loved it. I just really, really love producing the podcasts. Loved hanging out with you guys, doing all this kind of stuff. But obviously it costs a shitload of money. And I was doing well enough in my acting career to subsidise this and do it. But I thought there's got to come a point, surely, where I can start making some money back from this so it can at least break even. After year 8, something crazy happened. And obviously word spread about the site and lots more, hundreds more members joined, which was transformational really for the business. It paid me back. It still owes me a little bit, but it paid me back nearly everything that it owed me over the last 2 years. My vision for the site has always been this, that it gets to a point where hopefully within a year's time, I'm just going to go hell for leather. And please, if you've got any friends who are actors, who if you've benefited from any podcast you've heard on Acts on This, if I've helped you in any way through a free podcast or one of these broadcasts or anything, if you've ever got any value from me, I don't want anything from you, bar a tweet to one of your actor friends to go, guys, get on this, check this podcast out, become a member, because it's going to benefit everybody. What I want to do at some point late this year, it just depends how long it's going to take, might be early next year, whatever, is when I can get this site profitable to the point where it is making, it's probably never going to make millions of pounds, but when it's making some decent revenue. What I want to do is start taking some of that money out of the business. And it might only be like 5 grand, I don't know, 10 grand, but I want to start producing my own short films with you lot, with members of actsonthis.tv. That's always been my kind of goal, to use this site and this platform as a vehicle to be more creative and just to create stuff, with the most committed members of the community and the people who have really invested in me and the site and just supported everything from, either the get-go, or it doesn't matter if you join today. If you're super supportive of the site and you're always supporting it, you're going to get, I promise you, karma is practical. I'm going to pay you back because I'm going to bring you into projects. So creating your own work is something that I'm massive on, guys, something that I'm hugely passionate about. I see my friends do it. Some of my friends, one of my friends won an Oscar doing it, really took a career into her own hands. And I have got a couple of podcasts already up on the site. If I swap over to this, that'll really help you with figuring out how to create your own content. If I go to what's new here, let's have a look, because I did a few just last year that were really good. Jason Wingard was one of them. Where's Jason? Jason's an independent filmmaker, but he works on some awesome stuff. He's done some fantastic films. He did Eaten by Lions, which is a great film. with Johnny Vegas, Jack Carroll in it. There he is. Booking roles in the best independent films with director Jason Wingard. That's a great podcast to listen to if you want to work in independent film and work with directors like Jason. I'm going to do a workshop for premium members of Acts on this as well with Jason, where we're going to hopefully discover some more talent he wants to work with. That's definitely good there because he talks about the process of creating your own films. And then there's another one with these guys. Jay Consul, you'll recognise as Billy Fletcher from Emmerdale. We've got Michael Keogh in the middle there, Jonathan Blake on the right there. They did a film called Underwater. It was Jay's first film. They just smashed the independent film festival circuit with it. That's a fantastic podcast to listen to. This one is great as well. Liam Collins, he did a film with Brooke Vincent. Plays what's the character Brooke plays in Corrie? Sophie Webster. It's about a boxer. He talks that was his first film. And he talks about how he funded it, how he raised money, how he crowdfunded for it, how he just rang businesses and got them to just give him money, basically, on the back of supporting the cause. He's super, just kind of like resourceful, Liam, in terms of how he, how he got the film, just made from scratch. I think he wanted to. I can't remember how much he wanted to raise. I think he wanted to raise 10 grand, and before he knew it, in 4 weeks, he'd raised 15,000 quid to shoot this thing. I'm sure I've got a little trailer from that podcast that I'll play you. I'll play this one as the last trailer to put out now. Where is it? Let me have a look. I'm sure it's in this folder here. Liam, where are you? Oh, come on, Liam. He's definitely here somewhere. Nikki Blythe, casting director. I know I've definitely got it because I freaking saw it before. We've just been going through all this content, me and Petch, today. But it's clearly not called Liam Collins. Don't all tune out. I promise you it's here somewhere. Don't tell me it's not here somewhere. I hope it... I don't know if it is, actually. It might be on my other hard drive. Oh, come on. It's got to be here. Let me have a look if it's on this hard drive instead. Oh, I hope so. Otherwise, this is a massive anticlimax, isn't it? Social video. I'm going to have to play something because this has just been... I've never got one from one of the other ones. I've definitely got that freaking Liam Collins thing. I played it when I was with Petch before. I literally played it before because we went through every single thing that I'd done because we were going through and going, what's the best promo? I bet it's in this one. Come on. Yes! Oh, God, that would have been terrible had I not found it. Right, here you go. I don't know what he even says in this. It's been such a long time since I played it, but it's a complete story of how he funded his own first film. I've also got Phil Barantini's as well, where he did his first film, Dougal, who's just joined here. He's in it with Stephen Graham. Yeah, check this out. This is Liam talking about his experience, though.
So the film My Toughest Battle is about a boxer suffering with depression, but he kind of doesn't really know what it is, and it's his journey, and he's about to get married as well, so it's kind of his journey about how he feels, what it actually is that's going on. In my family, my granddad, sadly, we never got to meet. He unfortunately took his own life. My cousin did. I'm not suicidal by any means. I've had, times when I've definitely had depression, but I think it can trigger at any time. I never understood what it was. And I'd always wanted to make a short film. I'd written, when I wrote my goals down years ago, I'd wrote to make a film or to make something, and I remember just being, it was honestly about 1 a.m. I was in bed, and now, bear in mind, for anyone out there that's thinking, well, I can't write anything.
Yeah,
I'm dyslexic for one. I've never wrote anything in my life, but I wrote about something that I know about.
Boom, there you go. That's Liam wrote it down as a goal, didn't he? Wrote it down as a goal. Bloody did it. So anyone who's looking to shoot the first short film, go check that out.
So the film My Toughest Battle is about a boxer suffering with depression, but he kind of doesn't really know what it is, and it's his journey. And
Hang on, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here. I think that's it. I was pressing all the wrong stuff because it's gone 10 o'clock. Losing my mind. I hope right. There you go. Right, I'm back. Just catching up with myself. Right. Yeah. Also, just ignore this flashing that's going on the screen for a second. I know it's happening. I'll try and sort that out for next time. But yeah, if you type in Barantini, Phil's will come up. Breaking Your Limits with actor-director Phil Barantini. He did a film called Boiling Point with Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham, obviously, just appeared in The Irishman, one of the biggest films of the year. Incredible actor. Phil directed his first, no, it was his second, actually. I think it was his second short film with Steve Graham, though. And it was just an idea that he had. He talks in this podcast about how he wrote it, how he got it wrote. He didn't even write it. He's not a writer. He got someone else to write it for him. But he talks about how you can do that as well, and goes through the whole process. Boiling Point is now being turned into a feature film. Honestly, yeah, if you want to create your own content this year, there's so much on actsonthis.tv as well that's going to help you do that. So do check that out. I probably bored you all enough, guys. There's so many people who've been on the broadcast tonight. It's 10:15, so I'll let you go. But yeah, ultimately, if you want to smash your goals this year, I want to help you have the best year of your life. And I want to have the best year of my life as well. I will be documenting everything I'm doing in my own acting career via these live broadcasts, via these podcasts, via the vlog. We do a vlog behind the scenes of every podcast. If you go to youtube.com/watch Ross, you can check that out. If you need any help and you're a member of actsonthis.tv, even if you're not, just email me, ross@actsonthis.tv. It doesn't matter. I will reply. Might not be straight away, but I will always reply. Send me a tweet on Twitter @RossAGran, @actonthisTV. I will always reply. Same on Instagram. But I just want you to get clear on what you want this year. And I promise you, whatever you want, there's something on actsonthis.tv. There's some feature, or if you let me know what you want, I'll create a feature with someone who's already done what you want to achieve, to help you do that this year. There's so much content on there after a decade. And it's making a massive impact. I get emails from people every day. I get tweets from people every day telling me how they've landed agents, they've got jobs, they've created stuff, and ultimately like how they're happier. Because of some of the advice that they've been given on actsonthis.tv and they've taken and they've ran with it. I can't take credit for any of that. I just bring the guests on. It's down to you guys to take action on it and act on it. That's why it's called Act on This. So yeah, anything I can help you with, let us know. But if you are watching this for the first time, or you're watching and you've lurked in the background for a long time and you haven't got a membership yet and you've been unsure about whether you should, I promise you, just go and get one. Try it out for a month. You can join for 1 month. It's a rolling month-by-month thing if you want. You can buy a year up front. It's cheaper. But if you just want to buy a month, it's 17 quid. £4.25 a week is the price of a coffee every week. It's cheaper than a medium-sized McDonald's meal every week that you will probably spend and think nothing of it. When you could be investing that in your acting career. So not only will I stop you getting heart disease, going to help you get a better career as well. Just join for a month. You can cancel if you think it's shit. I promise you won't think it's shit. You'll, if you take action on it and you listen to this thing, you listen to the features that are on there, it's going to do nothing but good for you. You'll find it almost impossible not to progress, but you've got to take action. You cannot just consume passively. Some people like doing that. They like to just, doing ultimately is always better than just consuming. You've got to do stuff with this information, but there's so much on there. I promise you it'll change your life if you do commit to it. So huge shout out to everyone joining me tonight. Honestly, I cannot thank you enough for being here. I bet by the end of this show there's probably been nearly 1,000. There's normally about 1,000 people who've been through. There's normally about 50 people at any one time on here, but 1,000 people will come through each broadcast. So huge shout out to everybody and those listening on the replay. Thanks so much for being here as well. 114 more comments have just come through. I'm so sorry that I cannot. What I'll do is I'll go back through these comments now, and if there's anything that's really kind of pertinent, I'll just answer it in text format. I'll let you know what if I can help you with anything. Fiona's here. I think I'm going to have to say good night. She's off. Thanks, Fiona. Paul Dupree watched a ton of your YouTube videos. They've been amazingly helpful. Cheers, Paul. Finally pulled the trigger and signed up. First time joining the chat. Happy to be here from LA. Nice one, mate. That makes me very happy. Thank you very much. Paul, mate, do anything for you. Need any help? Email me anytime you want, or put a post up in the private community on actsonthis.tv. That's awesome, man. Do you know what? I freaking love it. Sometimes it's more rewarding than getting an acting gig when somebody's actually gone, you know what? I believe in this enough to actually take some action and do it. So thank you. Massively appreciate you all. Going to be back next Monday. Don't know what I'm going to be talking about, to be honest, next Monday. I've got a podcast coming up, I think next week, with Chris Luntz and his writing partner Michael. Chris has written some incredible dramas. He's got some great dramas coming out on Sky. He wrote Prey for ITV a few years ago. He's doing something called Devils. The Swarm. It's a new drama that comes out in March. Basically, between the two of them, they've written £100 million worth of TV drama in the last 12 months. Pretty incredible. I'm pretty sure I'm getting them two on the podcast next week. So that'll be really helpful for anyone who's looking at writing their own stuff this year. I met Chris at a charity event. I'm a patron of Danny Miller's charity, Once Upon a Smile. Great charity. Please support it. It's about for bereaved children, families with bereavement within it. But I met him at charity do there, and we just chatted so much about like just the industry and his writing. And like it's so interesting when people can be so successful yet still feel that they're kind of like it's imposter syndrome, innit? They feel like, oh, you know what? I'm still don't know if I'm quite good enough. It's like, mate, you've just written £100 million worth of drama. I think you're good enough. But, it's really, really fascinating, the mindset, of people who we perceive as super successful, and they still have all the insecurities that we have. So we're talking to Chris and Michael all about that. I've got Daniel Edwards coming on, casting director of Line of Duty and lots of other great TV drama on the 1st of February. I've got Dean Smith and Gary Damer, two actors who run a great podcast, actually, for actors, but also like on fitness and exercise and running. It's called Behind the Medal. Dean's best mates with Ed Sheeran. He had Ed Sheeran on his podcast recently. They're coming on the 23rd of January. Got so much coming up this month for premium members. And if you've got any suggestions and you want a specific casting director or an agent or whoever, please just shout up and I'll do my very, very best to get them on. So lots to look forward to. Thank you so much for being here. Massively appreciate you as always. Oh, what I've got to do is just actually get it so I can end this broadcast, haven't I? That'd help. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Gary. Just saw your comments there. Because I always forget this, don't I? I forget like actually how to end the broadcast. For those listening on the replay, if you're listening on iTunes right now or Spotify, will you please tweet me at Ross A. Grant at Act on This TV and just let me know where you listen to this. I would just love to know, one, if you made it to the end of this rather long broadcast, because huge respect for that. But I want to know where people are consuming. Are you in the gym? Are you walking the dog? Are you... God, I don't know. What are you doing? Where are you? Are you in the soft play with your child while they're in the soft play like my mate Gary was the other day? Listening to a podcast. Let me know whatever you're doing because I'm intrigued. Thank you for being here. If I do anything for you, let me know. And I will see you next Monday, 9 p.m. Until then, bye for now.